Hi, I'm Matt with Schematical, and with me as always is Dominic DeMarco, and I'm on the wrong camera. Just realized that.
I don't think
So
anybody else did. I didn't, so I don't think anybody else noticed you were on the wrong camera.
I appreciate that. So today we are talking about AWS's new agent registry,
Hmm.
um, and that one's kind of a new one out there. It's in preview right now. I actually don't know a ton of it about it, but I haven't gone hands on with it yet. And it's an interesting tech though. So you're familiar with protocols for agent to agent. You're familiar with protocols for a bunch of the other ones, MCPs, tool calls. Well,
Mm.
what they're finding right now is that kind of different. Say you got a big company, and different divisions of that company have different, people building these tool calls redundant. So they're creating these redundancies, and they're trying to figure out a way to centralize it. And AWS wanted to get into that game and jump in there, which is very interesting.
So
Um,
a repository makes it sound more like it's a source to get information versus it's a tool to find duplication of efforts. Because otherwise, it sounds very much like a specialized metadata sort of private GitHub repository in some sort of way.
I'll be honest, like I said, it's brand new tech, so I haven't gone hands on with it. But basically, it looks to be a way where, say, you run a movie business in your art department or your graphics department. They have some tools, and you want to be able to access the same tools as them, and you want to make sure that those get exposed to your agents that you've written, or skills. Skills is another one that's kind of just a it's basically just a fancy way of prompting.
Mhm.
Um, so it's interesting. It's got Cura wired into it, so you can already do Cura with it. I mean, I have a feeling you'll be able to do it lots of different things. But like, let's just say you have an MCP for marketing, and I have written some MCPs for my more technical side of things, and we want to kind of bridge
Mhm.
the gap with an agent. You should be able to do that, or you could tell one agent to talk to another agent, which sounds like a phenomenal way to spend money very quickly.
I mean, there's got to be a way to cap those sorts of things, you would think, but so what was your last sentence? Something about this is like mobile, and I would switch to that screen, but otherwise I lose my camera. What was that last sentence in there?
So I believe I was making an analogy that just like the gold rush when mobile
Hmm.
apps first started being a real thing, everybody started jumping on that bandwagon saying, "Oh, I need to make a mobile app. I need to make an app for this. I need to make an app for that." It's like you could have done a website for half these
Oh,
things. You didn't need to make it a mobile app. And I
right.
think we're going to
So
see.
here's where I'm going, and here's where I'm going to poke at that analogy a little bit and see if something similar holds true here with the AI chatbots. I don't disagree with a broadly that if you just have a website, you did not need a mobile application. But I would argue that the mobile application for the right website gave you a whole different vector into the user's life through push notifications and personalization and everything there. So
I don't.
not that,
Yeah.
like if you're doing just a boring, if you're some sort of just service business, etc. Okay, I can see the sense in saying, okay, the extra functionality that you could have is not valuable to you. But for the right people, that extra functionality is incredibly differentiating, perhaps market making.
Oh, and I'm not saying we should throw out this whole technology like it's not useful. I'm
Mhm.
saying, like, I mean, you couldn't do an Uber without a mobile app. It just would not be a feasible thing to
You
do, really.
could, but it would be janky. It
It
would be very
wouldn't.
janky.
It wouldn't be Uber. It'd be something. It'd be a
Janky,
taxi. You might
cheap.
as well just,
Yes.
yeah.
Fair, fair, fair.
So so I'm not saying it's not useful. I'm saying people should not just try and cram agents in everything. It's the same thing I've been
Mm.
saying for a while. It's
Okay.
like,
That I won't
you know,
disagree with.
I can go back to the dog food, selling dog food in the mid 90s over the internet, trying to ship it from California to Wisconsin. It just wasn't, the
Mm.
logistics weren't there yet, and it wasn't, cost competitive. That's not to say it won't get there. But I mean, I find interesting, people having agents talk to agents. I'm curious how they supervise them, because again, I see agents as a good interface. I could see them, doing some entry level tasks, maybe some more advanced tasks in the future. But just allowing every time someone just says, "I got a swarm of agents," and it's like, okay, what are they doing? Like how much are you burning here? So I like this, that it exposes, creates a registry of the tool calls, so that way you don't have team A writing the same tools as team B. You've got some standards. That's something like, oh, everybody's just gonna be able to write their own stuff using AI agents in the future. They write their own software. If there's no standards, then it makes it very difficult for them to communicate. They'll be constantly rewriting their own.
Rather than two teams writing the same code, it seems to me like it'd be a much more powerful discovery tool.
I think it would be in a big organization.
Because a registry to me implies a discovery tool as well. There's a mechanism to go in there and query that registry versus that registry, I don't know, asynchronously getting back to you and it detects duplication based upon some sort of metadata comparison.
Well, no, you do the discovery ideally before you write a new tool.
Okay.
So you'd be like, hey, is there a tool for this in the business? Okay, well then, there isn't. So let's write one. Then we'll expose it. So then the next time someone comes up and says, "Oh, I wish I had a thing that checked how many widgets we made today," it's like, well, here's a tool call for it.
Okay.
Here's an agent that's in charge of
Okay.
this, that, or the other. And there are other ways.
If this is an Amazon level registry, is this at let's call it a business level namespace then, or is there a public registry out there for it as well?
My assumption, and again, this is pure assumption right now, because I haven't gone horribly in depth on it yet, is that it'll be more like an ECR repo. So ECR repo is across the company, but you can also expose it to other accounts. Sorry, across the account. So you can expose it to other accounts as well. So there'd be unique namespaces for each one of your tools as far as the account's concerned, and then you could use IAM roles to give other accounts access to it or restrict who can use what tools there. So from what I've seen so far with it, it's basically you've got a directory of tools, and my assumption is that in the future they're going to make it so like Agent Core, which is AWS's bedrock agent software, will just be a drop down saying, hey, these are the tools you're allowed to, or these, prefer these. So it's what I find interesting with AWS right now is they seem to be making more, not business to dev tools, but they're also making a lot of business to business type tools for business intelligence, which is a very fascinating move there. Their quick site is like a non-technical interface meant to give the C-suite or people the heavy reporting abilities to pull in a lot of different data, and then you've got an AI that builds these charts, and so they seem to be doing more of that. And I think this is leaning in that way, where everything else was all B to dev up until fairly recently.
Well, it may be a nice user interface, but it is still within the AWS ecosystem which is not a very non-technical user-friendly interface.
Well,
now they go for it.
Well, Quick Suite is for not technical people. You can chat with it, and you can it requires two apps. You have the dev that basically says, here's the data source, and then they feed that into the AI, the agent, and then someone who's totally not technical just say, hey, can you give us a chart that shows us last quarter's this, that, and the other? Like, hey, how many widgets we sold and all that. So it is it's an interface that is partially designed to be completely non-technical. And historically, AWS hasn't done a ton of that. They usually have been, they stuck in their lane. So they're departing from that a little bit right now, which is interesting. As a stockholder, I'm not sure I love it, but.
Well, that's just one small part of your AWS stock. That one service is one fraction of some percent of 1%.
Oh, I wish I could spin off Amazon from AWS. Don't you get me wrong there. So either way, I think this will be interesting for expanding on agents. I mean, again, there is a use case for agents where they make sense. So I know I'm skeptical. I'm always harping on it, but for the ones that do make sense, this could be very interesting. So, and I like that let you list the skills in there. So they're competing against, was it Claude and Anthropic? Because Claude is like their big thing, skills. Then Gemini created Gems, which is just another skill. Well, this also holds the skills, which from what I can tell, skills are primarily just binary assets and a detailed prompt for the most part. You could say, I guess, a little more. You could do scripts in there and things like that. But yeah, it's interesting to see Amazon going toe to toe with Claude on this, and so and I believe they've got an OpenAI. I haven't touched OpenAI in a while, but it just shows you that I don't think that Claude's moat with this one is that deep as far as their skills moat, and I'm pretty darn sure OpenAI's got no moat at all.
There's got to be some serious corporate espionage going, because they're all coming out with the same tools within weeks of each other.
Well, that's the thing.
Or the same strategies, the same next steps, the same whatever. I mean, it's just coming in such rapid succession.
Or are they using AI to build the tools that their competitors built within days of it coming out? It's tough to say. I'd say that is possible. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that I'm certain that there isn't espionage. But I just don't think it's an insurmountable, or I don't think it's a stretch to believe they could just be like, oh, this is their most popular feature. Let's build it, using AI within and release it. Like, these are juggernauts.
50-50,
Google and,
half and half.
Yeah. But well, either way, Google and Amazon are the ones that have the moats, is I guess what I'm saying there. So I think those, Google's got the traffic, the search traffic. I talk to my clients, and it's like, well, if we do this, we're going to block pretty much every search thing on the planet. They're like, okay, just make sure we don't block Google. I don't care about anything else. Like, it's amazing how little they care about traffic from these other sites.
I just saw an article today, completely unrelated to any of this, that Facebook is actually going to exceed Google's revenue in paid search, I think this next quarter or so, or projected to anyway.
That would, I could see that, between WhatsApp and Facebook. I mean, it would be a different type of traffic.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Because people aren't just hanging out on Google all day.
If you're running a gymnastics studio, Insta is it. If you're running a tire repair place, Google is probably it. Depends on the business. Depends on the type of customer you're looking for.
Yeah. No, it's so I could see that. I could see that happening. I mean, and Facebook. I mean, yeah. I don't know. They all. I was gonna say Facebook's got a little bit more of a predatory model, but in some ways, because it's addicting. It's a slot machine. Versus Google, they've got a suite of tools, but they don't really have that slot machine. Actually, I take that back. I'm addicted to one that you're probably watching this on right now is YouTube. That's the YouTube slot shorts machine Google owns there. So that would be interesting.
The shorts are crack cocaine.
Yeah, well, I've trained myself never to swipe. Was it down on or swipe up on a short? I've only done it like accidentally several times, because I'm just like, I do not want that to be a habit.
It goes to infinity. It goes to infinity.
Someone said it's one of the worst things we've ever released on mankind was infinite scroll. But with that said, I'm wondering if agentic AI can help us with that. So if you've got your personal agentic assistant and you've got them, reading your timeline and selecting out the crap, that could get interesting. I said that a while ago. I think that Facebook and other guys are going to try and push against that. So we'll see.
Mouse and mousetrap. They want you to swipe forever, and I see the addictive nature of it.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, it's a modern day slot machine. That's what it is. I say that as a guy designing games and taking in principles from slot machines. So, yeah. Well, with that said, I think we've covered a decent amount of ground. Yeah, I always love it how we start off with something fairly technical and then circle around to like big picture stuff. We just we can't.
I mean, it was a good topic. I hadn't heard of this, and I'm sure you'll tell us how it develops. It makes sense. Now, whether it's utilitarian or functional, that I don't know yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, if you are thinking about implementing AI on AWS, agentic or otherwise, generative with Bedrock, something like that, I'm doing a lot of work with that these days, and I'd love to talk to you. So you can find me at schematical.com. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to leave it with that one for now. So with that said, I'm Matt with Schematical, and thank you, Dominic.
Could you tell us if you got anything exciting coming up with a new game or anything like that?
Oh, I teched it. All right. Well, I was working on the sign up page for the beta today. It's a little early to release it because I don't think Lorato's tested it yet. I tested it, but screw it. We're going to live fast and dangerously. You're going signing up for the beta of my beta sign up page right now. If you go to schematical.com/techdebt, you can sign up for the beta. If you're interested in checking that out, it'll be on Steam shortly. I submitted another page for approval today, so hopefully we'll get there. But with that said, yeah, if you want to play a video game that's based on real-world InfoSec practices but puts a fun spin on it, you should check out TechDebt.
All right.
And again, that's schematical.com/techdebt. Have a good
See
day.
y'all.